Melissa, let me start off by saying, giving a few thoughts on the tariffs, because I think everybody has seen this, right? I think it's probably for some people, it's been shocking to hear that on day one, President-elect Trump is going to impose 25% tariffs on Canada as well as Mexico, 10% on China. You might sit there and say, well, why only 10% on China? It's because it's on top of whatever is currently being imposed on China. So, President Trump has been obviously campaigned on the view to clean up the borders, stop illegal immigration, and cut down on all the fentanyl that is crossing into the United States. So, I don't think any of us should be surprised, really. And at the same time, too, it's no wonder he wants to protect his borders, right? There's so much fentanyl that's coming across through Mexico. And what's interesting is that they take this chemical that Mexico gets from China and then synthesizes it, and then in these labs, and then sends it across the U.S. border. And just to give you some statistics here, Melissa, apparently, it's been about 21,000 pounds of fentanyl that's been seized coming from Mexico. Only 43 pounds coming from Canada that's been seized. So 21,000 versus 43 pounds. So you might say, well, why are we being so, negatively impacted as it relates to the tariffs? This is another interesting statistic. The U.S. Border Patrol with Canada has stopped 358 people that are on their terror watch list in 2024. 358 people in this country going to the United States have been stopped. In Mexico, it's 155. So we far outpace Mexico as it relates to people who are on the United States terror watch list. Now, do keep in mind as well that some of those people might be mistaken, or maybe they were affiliated, but not in terrorist groups. I'm not sure. But
they've been stopped.
But they've been stopped. Think about that. Do we know that? Does that get covered in regular media? I don't think so. Shouldn't we be concerned and want that cleaned up?
But does that mean they weren't able to cross the border?
Well, if they were, I'm sure they crossed. Well, I don't know where they got stopped, right? I don't know that. But I mean, if you cross the border, you have to go through immigration at any one of the bridges, right? And if you're on a list, you're on a list.
But I feel like good job that they stopped them.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many they didn't stop. That's what we don't know, right?
Well, you're right. Absolutely. So I think that, when you look at the current situation, and, what do tariffs mean to us? Well, first of all, is President Trump going to be using tariffs as a tool for foreign policy as part of the negotiation process? Or is there a real issue in his mind as it relates to trade imbalance, which I feel like it was more the first time around? This time, it seems more like a foreign policy tool. So then you have to sit there and say, well, then does that mean, if we clean up our borders, which it seems like it's a Team Canada approach to make sure that they're secure, maybe we won't get the 25% imposed. We don't know.